We be casting off now.
Hello and welcome to the From the Spirit World podcast, a legendary Avatar: The Last Airbender and the Legend of Korra podcast for overlyanimated.com. We are here podcasting episode by episode on the new Netflix live-action Avatar series with some of the biggest Avatar fans you know, the From the Spirit World crew. New podcasts generally out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next few weeks. I'm your host, Dylan, and today I'm joined by Delaney.
Hey, y'all.
Allie.
Hello.
Sam.
Yo.
And Jeff.
Hello.
Today we're talking episode 3, Omashu, as we are slowly, not that slowly, making our way through the season of the Netflix Avatar show. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of these podcasts, search for From the Spirit World or Overly Animated anywhere you listen to podcasts. To subscribe to either feed for those, or a dedicated feed for the Netflix, just the Netflix Avatar podcast. You won't miss any of these podcasts. Some of us have only watched up to the episode we are covering here. There will only be spoilers up to episode 3, Omashu, and please no spoilers past that in the comments. We'll be in full spoiler territory for the original Avatar, Korra, Avatar, and also Korra throughout this podcast series, and you can send us feedback at podcast@overlyanimated.com, which I'll mention at the end as well. By the way, Sam, do you like them doing the From the Spirit World intro for these ones?
Yes. I didn't even really notice.
We used to be so passionate about the old From the Spirit World intro, but I guess I've probably changed it. But I don't.
I noticed it was from the spirit world, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't have an opinion until you asked me and put me on the spot for one.
That's how podcasts work. Then you got to come up with an opinion. Okay.
Well,
I
you
don't
have
have
to
one.
develop one fast.
Oh gosh, I'm too indecisive for that. So.
Okay, well, let's see if we have opinions on episode 3, Omashu. Again,
Should have called it Jet Temple something.
Yeah. More Jet.
The Northern Jet King.
My freedom fighters.
I did not expect a lot of Jet and no Boomy in the episode called Omashu. That's what
We saw him very briefly.
from a distance.
He exists.
Okay, so let's see. What did you guys think of episode 3, Delaney?
I really like this episode. I think so far this is the best example of we're going to Frankenstein a bunch of episodes together. I think it all gelled really well, and I thought it was an interesting pick of the 3, and it just worked really well. Like, I will say when he's like, there's another airbender, I'm like, I don't see anything. Like, I was like, I didn't see
anything either.
Like, I'm sure it was there. I don't know. And then I was like, what is he talking about? And then, like, it didn't even occur to me. And I was like, oh, we're doing all of these at the same time. Okay. And I liked it a lot. I hate Jet, even though so that's my one caveat.
But do you hate his actor is the question?
No, it was a great rendition.
So you originally hate Jet from Avatar days.
So like 9-year-old Delaney hated
God, you were that
Jet
young.
with like just a burning passion because he was an obstacle to Katang, and I just hated him. I hated him so much.
So what did adult Delaney, relatively adult, now think of Jet in this show?
I still hate him. It was still there. So I will say I didn't realize it was Jet like the first time.
Me neither. You mean on the cart?
Yeah, on the cart. I didn't realize it was Jet. And then when you like see his hair, I was like, no, I just started screaming. Like Tanya was like, you have to calm down. And I was like, no, I hate him.
I'll be honest, I still didn't like realize it was Jet until like after the episode when people were making fan cams of him. I was like, oh.
What do you mean you didn't? Because he at some point he says,
he had the shoulder pads.
I'm Jet. They call me Jet.
No. I mean, I didn't realize they were the same person.
What do you mean?
Because he was wearing a different outfit.
What do you mean you didn't realize? Oh, okay. From the
he
guy
had his
from
hair
the
different.
car.
He was wearing a totally different outfit.
I
and you could
understand
not
now.
see his face when he changed his hair.
That's fair.
Okay.
I thought he was Haru originally.
I did say that. to Tanya.
That would have been amazing.
It would make more sense timeline wise.
Can this actor play both of those parts? Just bring Haru in.
Yeah.
After they got off the cart, I was like, maybe he's just like the Haru stand-in because they're not doing that episode. And then I was like, no, it's Jet. It's worse.
Haru was also not in Omashu though, correct?
Correct.
So,
no, but neither was the Mechanist.
Obvious. No one was in Omashu that was here. Yeah. Almost no one that even. I mean, I guess the cabbage merchant was.
Yeah.
I was like, where is he? I was waiting. I was like, where is he?
Yeah,
Every corner. Where's the cabbage merchant?
That's part of the episode.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, Allie, tell us more. What did you
Why?
think
Why
of?
is that interesting? Obviously, the cabbage guy is the best part of the episode. I mean, I'm 1000% with Delaney. I think this has so far been like the best amalgamation of all these different plot points and also characters, especially the Mechanist. I think it makes a lot of sense that he's like working for the king, or supposedly working for the king, but then he winds up being a traitor or whatever. I think they did it really well. At first, when I was first watching the episode, I was like seeing all these characters come in and like the way they seem to split up. Like the stories, I was kind of like, this feels like it's too much, but I think the way that I guess the hour formula worked, and it was like ABC plot, worked really well. Also, I think now we're getting into more of a groove with Katara and Sokka, or at least their sibling dynamic. Like I think it's always been there, but it's really they're doing a good job with the annoying older brother, stubborn younger sister part of it. Had good dynamics. Oh yeah, we got the first Yip Yip, which was also fun.
Yeah. Was that the
was really
first
fun.
one? I was like, oh, so
I'm
now
pretty
we're
sure.
yip-yipping?
Unless there was one in episode 1, but
I thought there was one in episode 1, but now I'm not sure.
I think so. I will back up Delaney because I was also admittedly not like super against Jetara, because I had faith in my Katang heart even as a 12-year-old. I was like, nothing's gonna distract her from her one true love, but I did not like them together. That said, I did think Jet was a really amazing character, and this guy does a phenomenal job, and so do all the freedom fighters pretty much. They're really good.
I think Katara was distracted, though.
I mean, she was distracted, but like in the end, ultimately nothing's gonna shake her.
In episode 2, when Katara was like, we have to save him. Like, we have to help Aang. My wife was like, yeah, because he's cute. We have to.
He's your boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to.
Oh, I will say, I understand
She's
Katara more
shipping it.
now. He's got it going.
Okay, yeah.
He's a handsome boy.
I feel like would make more sense to understand when younger, but I guess.
I enjoyed Sokka being like really mad in the back of the cart.
Yeah, that was funny.
My mute brother-in-law.
That was really good.
Yeah, right after Katara's like, yeah, I like Suki. Like he can't be supportive as well.
I think the humor in this episode was pretty on point.
Okay,
Yes.
That's a strong take. Sam, what did you? I mean, relative to us criticizing the humor
Fair.
previously, I feel like
Dylan's like, this episode's not funny. I didn't laugh once.
I don't even remember we can go over any jokes other than Sokka being upset. Sam, what did you think of Omashu?
I agree with all of the above. I thought it was actually pretty good.
Hey.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how they incorporated all these characters into Omashu. I think it makes a lot of sense considering it's like a population center to have, the Mechanists and Teo and Jet and all them all here. So I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan that we got the CR girl Azula. She's getting
Yes!
some.
Oh my God.
She's so scary. Oh my god.
She's getting some character development. I love it. It's awesome.
wife
Zuko,
was
wonderful as always. Yeah, I didn't like the Jet and Katara stuff. If we're all gonna talk about that, well, he's too
That's
old
consistent,
for
at
her.
least.
Yeah.
He's too
Was
old
he?
for her.
Did he have an age in the original series?
I don't know, but he's too old for here. So I'm against this. I have to say I did roll my eyes every time they interacted.
Yes.
TBH.
Very real.
I was like
But
falling into my shirt. I was like, go away. I hate you.
But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It was a marked improvement over episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah. Jeff, what did you think?
I thought it was a very economical use of time to combine those two.
You're not wrong.
True, yeah.
I thought it was a good combo. I really enjoyed when they're going like off script, where wait, I actually don't know what's going to happen now because I've never
Yeah.
seen it, right.
I was like, are they gonna flood Omashu? Like, I was like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. At the same time, I think I've seen enough of these shows that these individual episodes, and I'm like, I think I liked it, but I can't really tell objectively if they did a good job of gluing them all together.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching with someone who'd never seen any of Avatar. This is actually her very first exposure ever, and she enjoyed it. So, okay, that's good.
Wow.
I thought the actor for Jet was fantastic. Like nailed his intonations. Azula, I'm confident. I'm hopeful that they'll portray her really well. If we started the show with her dad burnings, or not her dad, her grandfather burned alive, how are they going to make her portrayed as psychotic?
And we're doing it.
She's gonna electrocute them alive.
I guess the answer is have her revel in her dad now burning someone alive as an introduction to her.
Oh, that's right.
Lead them to their death, and then camera is
Dang, you know what?
focused
The
on her
opening
smiling.
Was actually the best scene of this episode, not the Cabbage Man. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
So the whole time I was like, "That's Azula." Like, I was like,
yeah, I also knew that was Azula just because I knew what her actress looked like already.
Yeah,
I wasn't
definitely.
100% sure, like recognition, but I was like, "That's Azula," and then I was like, "Yup."
I thought it was a great character introduction.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought it was very. Other than Ozai just kind of being there while like all these rebels are storming the palace. I don't know if he would do that, but I don't write the show, so what do I know?
We need to get you in the continuity room too.
No.
Yeah, well, look, all of us there.
Live, so.
Well, I guess first, but while we're on the topic, I agree it's a decent introduction to Azula. However, from actual Avatar, Azula in 201 has such an iconic introduction, I feel like. So just changing it.
However,
changing it makes me upset to some, it's like this. I mean, it doesn't make sense if you're bringing her in early or whatever, but I don't think it's
first appearance is actually in the storm.
Yes. But that's not. Thank you, Avatar Wikia.
Gosh,
her actual character intro in season 2, though.
My name.
I always talked about how amazing that was. That you are the closest to our walking Wikia. That is true.
Wow, I feel so honored.
That's a compliment.
I know. I genuinely am honored.
To the point about the opening, like I think I agree with who said like Ozai probably wouldn't behave that way. I mean, not that he's cavalier here, but it feels like he's like giving them too much legitimacy to even let them into his chambers.
Yeah, exactly. Like he wouldn't like he's giving them like too much satisfaction almost. Or like I don't know, he just wouldn't revel in that sort of thing, I don't think. But again, I don't write it, so
I thought it had the opposite effect, like he's setting them up for extreme disappointment and false hope.
I mean, I do enjoy that we're like kind of making Ozai a character versus like he wasn't really a character. He was.
I was gonna say I can't even tell if that's something Ozai would do because I don't even really remember enough about Ozai.
He would just sit in the background and smirk while his dudes.
I guess this is what he was doing during the off-screen time.
Are we even? We're just assuming that it's his plan and not Azula's like suggestion because she wants to prove herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll dig into it more. Anyway, I agree. Rare positivity from all of us is overall a good episode. And I think the best so far. This is more what I'm looking for from the show. So I'm hoping it's more like that, which is just throwing a lot at the wall, changing a lot of things. I mean, they didn't really change, like everything they added to this episode was kind of the same as the episodes they came from. But bringing Jet into Omashu, I think, was extremely successful. I think they gave that plot time and that worked really well. I could have used seeing a little bit like deeper themes, but the show isn't going there. Unfortunately, they're kind of just keeping the same themes from the show at most. The Mechanist, I also like the idea, but I don't think we got a ton from them. I don't know if we'll see more next episode because this seems to just be a part 1 of Omashu. At least, I don't think we'll spend the whole next episode there. But clearly, we haven't even really seen Boomy yet, so we're going to do
I don't know. If we spend the whole episode doing like a faithful recreation, it'll be really great. Just
for the rock candy and stuff. Now it's time to do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, now it's time to do that.
But yeah, I thought the Jet stuff worked better than the Mechanist stuff. But also, I think that's a better episode in the animated show. So it's fine.
Which is a better episode in the animated show?
Jet's a better episode. That being, I will say, Jet, they kept his location, his treehouse. That's really important. It's just weirdly outside of the city, I guess. So I feel like we didn't really lose much with Jet, but you bring the Mechanist to Omashu. The main point of the whole Mechanist episode is that it's at the Northern Air Temple. So I do feel like we lost a ton from what that episode was going for by moving him here. That being said, I was
a little bit where Aang's like, "You're not an airbender."
Yes,
but like,
they tried to keep the airbender.
It's the whole
stuff,
thing of like Aang and his culture being appropriated.
Yeah,
they didn't really even lean into that at all. They just kind of
They made it instead like the plot is that he is actually working for the Fire Nation,
which
was
was
part
true,
of it,
which was true. But which honestly, I watched the episode the first time and I was like, wait, was this episode saying the Mechanist worked for the Fire Nation? Like, I guess so, but the point where we cut off here, where we're doing this podcast, they have not really delved into that. It's more obvious that Jet admitted it. Nothing has really happened with the Mechanist on that front yet, so it's a little confusing.
Well, Jet's not working with the Firebenders.
It's more obvious. Jet's duplicity is more obvious. The Mechanist hasn't really come to full fruition yet. I think bringing Jet and Mechanist in, these are two kind of similarly themed episodes of people doing, the themes of like people going too far or doing different things than they should to try to like protect the people they care about or fight for what they believe in. I think what they're going for ultimately thematically, I thought overall works and was way more ambitious than anything we've seen so far from the show. So I appreciate that. And I like kind of approaching the grouping episodes together by thinking about the similar themes and stuff. I don't think everything lands here, but it was much, much more interesting to me than like last episode. Even though this episode's like it's like a 7 out of 10 versus last episode's like a 6 out of 10. It's not that much of a difference, but I feel like it crossed a threshold, and it's in my eyes, and this is like worthwhile now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It feels like it's starting to hit its stride here.
I guess I'd be surprised if it continues like this for every single episode from here on out, but we'll see. By the way, on my notes, we podcasted 2 hours last episode. And I forgot we didn't even mention something I thought was important. So,
oh, great.
My bad. It was on my notes. I got confused. But at the end, the villagers and Kyoshi all thank them with the big group bow.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So I wanted to note that, and it's basic, but it's like them trying to be more culturally authentic in some way. I think that's maybe the most in your face aspect of them trying to incorporate more from Asian cultures with the bow. I mean, again, basic, but I thought that worked really well in the ending to that episode, especially Kyoshi's was very like Japanese influence and everything. I thought that worked and felt good there.
I agree.
Cool. Okay. So I don't know. We've been talking about it already, but combining these episodes, this is definitely the most random combination. I was
so well.
I was spoiled that they brought Jet into Omashu by Netflix's press guide. So thanks for that. But I knew Jet was. We don't need to spend the whole episode on Jet, but he's cool. So bring him in. I mean, but okay. I will say a lot of stuff we did in Omashu, I feel like, happened in Ba Sing Se in the show.
Yeah, I agree.
Jet in the city, but except it's a different city. Iroh and Zuko disguising going into a city. Was this episode pulling from Ba Sing Se stuff with the Iroh Zuko stuff?
I wonder if it is, but at the same time, like, I mean, there's no way we're like, if we get season 2, there's no way we're not going to Ba Sing Se. Like, that has to happen.
I guess the thing with when you spend more time on Omashu, it's going to feel a little redundant when we get to Ba Sing Se. The thing is, we didn't, like, Omashu wasn't that prominent. We spent so much time in Ba Sing Se, and they have similar elements to them.
To be fair, they're Earth Kingdom cities. Omashu's big thing is it's in a mountain, and they have the delivery.
Yeah, and that's kind of all I remember from the show.
That's the thing. That's why I like that they're trying to bring in other elements from later in the season or from different places, because Omashu is its own place, and we didn't really get to see that much of it, apart from like after the Fire Nation had been occupying the territory, or when like Boomy was just being a crazy guy in his castle. Like, we didn't really get to see that much of the actual city. And that said, like, it might be a little redundant when we get to Ba Sing Se, but that I think just leaves room for them to do more stuff and more stuff differently, like to show how different the cities actually are. And
especially,
like you guys mentioned, Omashu doesn't have that much going for it. It's just like the mail system, and they have a king. We don't really know that much past it, except for now they have a cute marketplace, and like the Mechanist was there. So
yeah, we saw the marketplace, which I don't remember if that was a thing at all. So I like that expansion.
Yeah.
This is the perfect location time episode to adapt in a different way, because it's like we're now we've entered the worst run of episodes of Avatar from 105 to 111 or whatever, so
How
there's
can you
good
say that about the waterbending
there's
scroll?
good episodes in there. Like Jet, I think is a good
really
episode.
bummed. Every time she opens the scroll, I'm like, man, we're not going to get that episode.
That's a pretty good episode, but this episode, King of Omashu, we're adapting one of the worst episodes of Avatar. I mean, but that being said,
it wasn't very good.
I kind of miss the with the Boomy Aang flashbacks from this episode or from the return.
It was from
this episode.
King of Omashu,
yeah. I thought they were on this episode.
It was his chuckle, right?
Yeah.
That's like honestly what I miss. I feel like I missed from this episode, the aspect we didn't capture here. Getting to see more of Aang prior to, honestly, now that I think about it, Avatar has a Frieren like aspect, current anime
with flashbacks
of flashing very old person reminiscing on their past adventures. And you getting kind of this melancholic nostalgia vibe from it. So I feel like we haven't gotten too much of that from this show yet. Anyway, Sam, anything else on how they brought in elements from the other episodes here?
I didn't even notice. It didn't really occur to me that they were kind of pulling things from Ba Sing Se into this.
Well, how about just like bringing the Mechanist in, stuff like that?
So, I have to agree that in taking the Mechanist away from the Northern Air Temple, you lose a lot of characterization for Aang, because that's a big like moment for him to be like, you're taking things from my culture and you're kind of twisting them and you don't get it, and I don't know, I feel like you really lose a lot of Aang in that. But they still have the basic plot of, the Mechanist, he has ulterior motives, he just wants to keep his head down and live in peace, but he's doing nefarious things, which that's fine, it can be here, I'm not mad at it, I like it actually. So
nice. Yeah, Jeff, any other things on them combining these episodes?
I thought it was interesting how they characterized the scale of the city. I think in the animated show, it was more monochromatic in that there's the city and it looks like that, and then there's the palace that looks like that. But here they have the city and then they also have the forest somehow.
Yeah.
Which maybe is a bit more realistic given the scale of the city, and provides opportunities for somewhere for Jet to live. But I don't know how realistic. It felt a little bit odd in the moment to be like, oh, there's Fire Nation, saboteurs among us. Like where?
Was that a thing in the show?
Yeah, I mean that was what Jet was saying. It's like, yeah, Fire Nation people sneak in here.
Yeah. Was that a thing in the original Avatar? Like, was
no,
there in Omashu?
With Omashu, I don't think so.
No.
Because I guess it's maybe a nod to the fact that the end of Cave of Two Lovers, like Omashu's been taken over. I remember.
Maybe.
So there is eventually Fire Nation. Maybe it's the beginnings of the Fire Nation influence there.
Yeah, probably.
Well, he was just lying though.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, okay. Honestly, can someone tell me what happened in Return to Omashu? I don't remember it all right now.
It was just, wait, are we talking about book 2?
In book 2.
Yeah.
Boomy's captured because Fire Nation took over. Aang's trying to break him out. They fight Azula and the crew, and they almost get Boomy up, but Boomy's like, no, I'm going to stay here because neutral Jing, you need to find a different earthbending teacher.
Tom. Oh my god. I don't remember this episode at all.
It's not the
how
best.
How can you not?
Oh, they have the little sticky
the
thing?
Yeah, Pentapus.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Pentapox.
Practice.
Did you tell them about our disease?
Didn't your cousin die of that?
Oh my gosh. This can be...
I was disappointed I didn't get Mr. Pippin Paddle Oxcalopolis.
Oh,
that's how they disguise, that's how when he gets into Omashu. Yeah.
Yeah.
I started saying this to my wife, and so Tanny has seen Avatar, but she hasn't seen like a ton of Avatar. So, she's like, what are you talking about?
I was more like, they had to sneak into the city in the original too, and in this as well. But when they were on the cart, They didn't like even like Aang's hand was like fully out of the blanket, and they didn't even.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't really
let her-
get where they're just covering him with a blanket, or was he
Yeah.
in
But, like,
robes,
he
or-
wasn't fully
I thought that he
covered.
was just underneath the cart. I didn't even see him.
No,
I
was-
did, and I'm like,
It's unclear.
the soldiers did not, and I'm like, what's going on here? You guys slacking?
Useless.
Is okay.
Uh-huh.
Question on the combination thing in general. Are any of us offended that they are changing things like bringing the Mechanist to Omashu? Like, is there any fan element of how we feel about this that we don't like that they're changing things?
I mean, I think
No.
apart from like what we discussed about how it takes away from Aang's characterization.
Yeah.
So only if they change things in a bad way is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, sure.
yeah, duh.
But
Isn't that why we're here?
like Allie, you're still very passionate Avatar. Like, I mean, I think our levels of passion vary at this point. But for you, like, you're
Yeah, I
open
mean,
to them doing things like this.
Yeah, I feel like I've said this a lot, and I apologize for being a broken record. I'm very open to changes, and I think, like Jeff mentioned, like I enjoy going into certain episodes, certain scenes where I'm like, oh, what are they going to do with this? As long as it's done well, and it like they have a reason to do it apart from like just doing it for the sake of, whoa, look, we're doing this. Like it has to make sense, and it has to be done well. Like I'm picky about it, but I'm not like a purist, I don't think.
I'm not a purist. Yeah, it's a good
Also,
way
it's
of
not
putting
going to happen because they're making this 20-episode season into 8 episodes.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But we do the math, and it's like the runtime is actually pretty much identical.
It's probably pretty similar. Yeah, like this episode is 50 something minutes, which is over 2 Avatar episodes. Yeah, Jeff. In general, the approach here. Are you okay with kind of how they're taking things from various episodes?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just let it go, be its own thing.
Yeah. Please be its own thing, because if we're looking for a 1-to-1 like remake, we're going to be disappointed.
Yeah. They already have that. It's called Avatar. Go watch it.
Yeah, that's my opinion, right? Like, I wish this was something in the Avatar world that was not just them doing the same show over.
God.
I'm honestly, even if it's live action with CGI, like fine, just do a different story. So the fact that we're doing this story, the more they change, the better. I know I've said this 3 times now. But yeah, I just want to
podcast. It's fine.
I just want to emphasize this because I think people are looking to us as like Avatar super fans, right? So like the fact that we're not like they change things, you know.
Like, doesn't mean you're not a super fan.
If they would have done something like not even related to Aang, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have just done a whole season on Haru.
I don't know about that.
I mean, original character.
The start of
Avatar.
The start of episode 1 makes me just want. Why didn't you just make this a prequel, like set 100 years ago?
Oh my god,
life?
yeah.
That would have been super.
Ozai's story.
Or yeah, just go back to
no, Sozin is
do
Sozin.
Avatar. Sozin and Roku being super gay.
Yeah, expand out Avatar and the Fire Lord into a full show. They honestly could do that.
on screen for a second.
They could do stuff like that at Avatar Studios. Anyway,
but people aren't nostalgic for all that, and that's not going to make money.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, if this is such an expensive show, like obviously they're going to do the established property thing. Like
I will say, speaking of expensive, watching the cart delivery system in its horrendous CGI, I was like, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
I was like, oh my god. I'm glad they did it because the whole episode I was like, get in the cart.
I know. I'm like, get in there.
Cart.
Yeah.
I'm a little bummed Aang didn't get in the cart.
There's no way to do that in like photorealistic like animation and have it look like super great. So I was honestly fine with
unless we
how
invent it.
I mean, I think we could have this. I don't think this is like
some.
I don't think this is some super advanced technology that we don't have access to.
I feel like this is like a common theme with their CGI. Is more than once they're missing establishment shots. That like, where did that thing come from? It just kind of poofed into existence on the screen.
Also, I'm tired of seeing the same river. I'm like, look, you moved. But that river looks the same. Your little stream.
I do feel like there's a lot of in your face during the action, and I'm kind of trying to figure out what's going on. The pacing, it's about the pacing as well to some extent. Once this episode started getting into it,
yeah, and like when the Mechanist kid is introduced for the first time, like you kind of come upon him, and he's in his wheelchair, and as fans of the show, we all know, oh, he was just in the air because that thing flies, but if you've never seen the animated show, no, that does not come across. He's just
And you're
no,
like, what?
especially because right before that shot, the glider looks like it's much farther from where Aang, Katara, and Sokka are, and then not even 5 seconds later, they're right in front of him.
Also, they're like, he's flying, and you can't even see it when Aang's like, there's a guy over there.
Yeah, no, I didn't
It is hard to see, yeah.
Because the key part of the whole thing with Teo is he's a flying wheelchair. And you don't even get that until that one.
Yeah, they
scene
didn't
when he's
even
flying
like.
with Aang.
Did they even talk about like how I made this for my son so he could?
No.
No, they didn't talk
No.
about that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I tune out sometimes. This isn't it.
It
I
wasn't
will say,
important enough.
his big puppy eyes, I'm like, stop looking at me. You're adorable.
The little kid,
yeah, that
he's
kid was
cute,
so
cutie.
He's so cute. And I was like, stop looking at me.
Also,
Yeah.
the Mechanist, isn't he? He's from Community, right?
Okay,
I
we'll
haven't
talk
seen
about
that
the
show.
Mechanist first then. Yeah,
Okay, I was
Mechanist
about to be like, wait.
is Danny Pudi from Community. For me, definitely the most recognizable person on
I'm
Avatar
shocked
so
my
far.
wife didn't say anything, but
I think he's like very. I mean, he's not like the biggest name, but if you're a Community fan, I feel like it's a big deal that he's here.
absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen clips of the show, and I know he's great.
He's great in that. I thought he was great here as the Mechanist.
Yeah, he did a great job.
No, I'm glad you said this because I was like, why do I like recognize him? And now I
You know,
know
I've not seen him in a serious role before, and this I don't know about.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in almost anything since Community. So yeah, unfortunately.
Is his role in Community like strictly comedic?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he's like not goofy. I don't know. He's not like
Yeah.
intentionally goofy. You know,
Is there anyone in the community that's like serious?
they're all funny. I mean, I guess he's not a straight man. I wouldn't describe him as that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's been a while though, but
his actor did one like serious thing. It was like a Twilight Zone series of shorts. It was
I
really
told me he was in Twilight. I was like, what?
he should have been in Twilight.
Should have been.
Jasper.
Jambo.
Okay. I thought both of them were good. I'd like to see more, I guess. I did like the Mechanist scenes with Sokka for the most part. I thought
Yeah.
I
those
will
were
say
good.
that's where, a lot of people online I've seen, and we've talked about complaining, like a lot of like telling, not showing. This was one of those that really irritated me because we get Sokka talking like a little shot, but then the Mechanist is like, "Oh, you are like so
You're an
smart.
engineer." Yeah,
So,
like-
yeah, and I'm like, this sucks a little.
Is he really that smart?
I think it works because like he doesn't know what an engineer is, and
That's
the
fair.
Mechanist thinks like his skill is very obvious. But like I can understand why it's like you're gonna spell it out that way. You could just say like you have a talent for like science. I don't know. I really don't know.
Which, I mean, I like it in that we're building up, Sokka is a great strategist and we'll get there, but like it's a little, I was like, I didn't like that.
I also liked, well, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything for later down the line, but this, like, his focus on, like, just being a warrior and, like, now he's finding out that he might have, like, other opportunities that he hasn't thought of before is, like, I appreciate that they're doing that with his character.
Yeah.
And, well, because also it hints back to, like, the episode before this, too, where he was like, oh, yeah, I made this boomerang myself. Like, he does have talent for inventing things, and he doesn't just have to, protect the tribe. And I like that they're going down this road instead of like the whole like I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this. Like they're not trying to like make him like only be the sexist meathead, and they're trying to like just make him more of like a person.
I would say I think this comes later in the show, so I do like that they're introducing it now, because we're cutting the meathead nonsense.
His meathead stuff from earlier. Then that's interesting where they'll go with it. Jeff, any thoughts on the portrayal of Mechanist and Teo?
No, I think I agree with everything. That's I think it was in general positive. Yeah, I would say.
Nice. Yeah, Teo good. I do think notable that they don't really talk about the fact that he's in the flying wheelchair. Like is it an in original Avatar, is it this incredible portrayal of disabled characters? I'm not sure to what extent they get into the themes that it's so particularly good or whatever, but I think minimizing it in when you're showing it is probably not good. I just feel like the show is like clearly not interested in digging into progressive elements like this. I mean,
if they're gonna bring Toph in, that's not really helpful.
We got to get into it with Toph, and there's so much room, I feel like, to potentially, and maybe this is a hot take, improve the portrayal of disability with Toph in the show. So we could have done a similar thing with to start off with Teo here. Not that it's this amazing big thing, and
no, but they could have like had a little subtle nod or anything.
Yeah. And it's still just on my mind that we didn't put Sokka in the makeup. Like that's really still what I'm mad about.
I will
They
say
didn't put Sokka in where?
In the makeup in last episode.
Tanya was very bummed out.
We're all bummed out.
It was like, why?
Yes, one of the worst changes so far.
But we still showed him in the wheelchair he was flying, and maybe the opposite perspective is it's to some extent more progressive to not call attention to it, to just showing him be how he is or whatever. So I don't think it was terrible or anything what they did.
I will say, given that we don't spend that much time with him, and like, it's probably good that we don't spend a chunk of his very little screen time talking about it is probably a good thing. And he does, they do stuff. They fly up into the cave, and he like tells Aang stuff.
Yes, they have that one scene in the cave. And so I mean, and I don't remember Teo doing almost anything in the original episode. Yeah. So that's nice. I in general, Mechanist Tale. I need more next episode. If they're not. I mean, I'm not going to say they're a flop, but if this was it for them.
They did not serve enough.
I feel like we have to. I mean, we still have to address that the Mechanist is selling information to the Fire Nation,
which is, I guess, explicitly presented in the scene when Jet and Katara are spying on him, then is not followed up on.
He is colluding with a firebender.
Yes.
What else could that be?
With a guy who then. But I was confused because there was Aang and Sokka come in and are like, it was Jet, and Katara comes in and is like, it was the Mechanist, and they're like, no, it's Jet. Oh, does that mean Mechanist is off the hook? No, but the episode doesn't then follow up on that yet, so that'll come next episode, I guess.
Like, Katara's right, but Katara was also wrong.
She was right about another thing, but wrong about the initial bomb, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that end with Jet.
Because I do want to say,
yes.
The Mechanist said the word damn.
Oh yeah,
our first curse word.
That's
of the
pretty scandalous.
No, it was our second. Someone said ass in the first.
Oh,
episode.
They said ass. Oh, my bad. I didn't realize
all this cursing on the podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's so mature now. We're killing people. We're burning them alive, and we're uttering the word damn and ass. We're getting in the PG-13 territory.
Who's gonna drop the F-bomb before Toph?
Not on this podcast.
It has to be Toph.
Okay. Yeah, if they let Toph say F, then that would be worth the show.
I would agree. That would be completely worth it.
Yeah.
And afterwards, and I'd be like, worth it.
I will say with Toph, I have not seen a green light yet for season 2 of this. If this gets canceled and a second Avatar adaptation does not get to Toph, that will be very frustrating.
I will lose my mind.
Well, no, be careful what you wish for. If it gets canceled, well, I guess you're not wishing for it to get canceled, but if it gets canceled again, maybe the next live action adaptation that's inevitable will include Toph in the first season.
Start with book 2.
I mean,
yeah.
It's like we're gonna need another Spider-Man reboot because I forgot what happened to Uncle Ben.
Oh Lord,
This will be the new. It's true. It'll be the new Spider-Man. I actually think it'll probably get renewed for season 2, but it's been number 1 on Netflix for a while. But it's so expensive that there's a high threshold, I feel like, for renewing it. Anyway,
God, all that advertising dollars they spend on Tumblr alone.
I don't know.
Tumblr.
Okay, it costs like 5 cents to advertise on Tumblr. I don't think.
It's all I've been seeing.
Because it's doing really well right now, especially. I think a season 2 is pretty likely.
We hope so. I don't know if I'd say anything is likely with Netflix.
I would maybe need to rewatch Avatar to be prepared. Book 2 is probably my weakest point.
That's the best season too.
I agree.
Yeah, that is the best season.
The problem is I didn't watch Book 2, like the whole Book 2 live.
Yeah,
I watched
marathon
Book 3
time.
when it aired.
Oh, so you caught up. Okay, yeah. So it's less implanted in your memory, yeah. Not that we need to get into this too much, but quickly, like, should they have brought Toph in earlier? They did bring Azula in earlier.
I think it's fine that they didn't.
Yeah, it's okay.
There's already so much going on. Like, you have to, like, immerse yourself in the universe if you're not familiar with it, obviously.
We need to establish the gang before we...
Right, but what if instead of bringing in Jet and the Mechanist, we just bring in Jet, cut the Mechanist, something like that, and either bring in Toph this episode or next episode.
Or we don't even have Jet, and it's just Toph.
Nah, I need Jet here. Let's talk about Jet.
hate him.
I thought
He's fine.
I thought he was. I don't know. I think did I hate Jet in the original podcast?
I don't know.
Am I supposed to uphold that opinion?
You're a different person than you were 15 years ago.
No,
You've lived a full life.
We're supposed to have continuity here. That's why I'm
I've also
still
lived a
standing.
full life.
Oh, you're saying people aren't
Still-
supposed to change. Got it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my roots of not liking girls.
Yeah, that's where you go.
I'm
But,
not
I
doing
mean,
that.
you're still quoting Avatar like 15 years later. So.
Yeah, that's never gonna change.
Yeah. I thought Jet here was very fun. His actor was good. With the one big exception, I thought him and Katara were fun. The big exception being what was, I think Sam referenced earlier, that I think, we're not going to do Katang because Aang looks too young. Oh, except we're going to have Jet, who is, I believe the actor was 20 here, flirt with Katara, whose actress was 14. That was uncomfortable, I think, in that respect. You have to kind of get out of that mindset of the ages.
I was also a little, I mean, apart from the ages, there is one thing about their interaction that I've seen bother a lot of people, and I understand where it's coming from. I mean, we could talk about it later, but it's just one specific scene. It's not like the actors or anything.
Okay, well, as they bring it up as we go through, but Jet, I feel like Jet's supposed to be like 16, 17 in animated Avatar, and Katara's 14, so it's like yeah, he's too old for her, but it's not this like super creepy thing that I feel like it kind of comes across as here.
Interesting. I thought it was creepier in
Also,
the
they
series.
immediately meet, and he's like, "This is my wife," and I'm like, "You're a creeper."
Yeah, right?
I mean, that's clear. Come on, that's not intentionally.
This is
I
my
know, but
wife.
he's still a creeper.
And yeah, that rubbed me the wrong way.
He's
Personally,
like, I bet
but
you
like
can
it's
use the
fine.
turnip sack, and Sokka's like rolling his eyes so hard.
Yeah. No, he just, I mean, so Katara, like, having a crush on him makes sense, like, for her age and whatever, and he's an
Mhm.
older,
This is where the
cute boy.
Zutaras come in.
That makes sense, but Jet is
Mel's not-
actively flirting with her, like, many times in this episode.
Yeah, kinda.
Like, I understand
Well,
why we
who's he gonna
cast this.
flirt with? Smellerby?
I mean,
Does he
Rude.
have to flirt with anybody?
I remember
I
Smellerby doing something in the in the
Zuko.
show.
He has to flirt with him.
I like Jet and Pipsqueak.
Jet Zuko would be a good. That is a good.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of
Zuko.
like
Good.
I was feeling that a little
Jet
bit
and Zuko.
back.
Oh, yeah,
when
and
I was
Bossing Safe,
rewatching
for
it,
sure.
yeah.
Okay. I think I understand why we cast this person as Jet because he's great. But I feel like if we wanted to have so much flirting here, we probably should have got someone younger. Because Katara, I do think looks very young, like potentially younger than.
No, that's
Avatar.
part of what makes Azula so terrifying is that she looks 14, and I'm like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Azula, Azula also looks young and actually 14, but animated Azula does not look 14.
No.
So she looks a lot younger here. And I guess part of it's the voice actor and stuff. But anyway, Jet, we get the gang, we get the treehouse.
I will say, I do think like it was really cool to see everyone, like all the members.
I didn't know or think we would be getting everyone, and we would be calling
Right?
them
Yeah.
names, and we would do the same pipsqueak joke. So I was like,
I was like, they have to do that, and then they did. I will say, Smellerby looks ridiculous in live action.
Oh, I
Yeah.
loved her. She was great.
we
She
need
was
more Smellerby.
she was my girlfriend and I's favorite part.
She didn't do that much yet. Maybe she'll do something.
Look, whatever makes Sam
Just
happy.
her existence.
Yeah.
Like she's
Like
awesome.
we got everybody. It's pretty cool.
What was Smellerby's big thing in the show? There was something with her. I'm trying to remember.
That Iroh mistook her for a boy, and she was like,
Okay.
"I'm a girl."
Okay.
That's literally her only character.
And then she had like a little thingy thing with Longshot.
Oh
Yeah.
I don't
people
remember
shipped
this.
them
Okay.
because they had one
Longshot,
interaction.
I think the actor who plays Longshot was like genetically created to just be Longshot.
He's made in a lab.
Longshot looks like a Craig of the Creek character in live action. It's interesting. Just like there's like a stretch guy. I don't know. But it's yeah, and I thought I didn't like I knew Jet was going to be here. I didn't know we'd get all of this stuff, and I was happy with that. I like that we even though it feels shoehorned in, it's like they're just hanging out next to Omashu, whatever. And we just go there, then we come back in the city. I don't know the logistics of all that, but I did appreciate that we did everything with Jet here. And we do a Jet-like plotline, even though it's not the like breaking the dam type of
I really
thing.
was. I was like, we're flooding the city.
Yeah, we
So,
do.
okay. The part of this that I have a problem with, and like I see other people have a problem with, is the whole conversation that he has with Katara, where she's telling him about her trauma with her mom and being like, it's hard for me to bend since that. And he's the one to be like, just like,
yes,
focus on the good. But then he's the one like murdering people. Like it feels like he's trying to mansplain how to bend to her when A, he's not a bender, and B, he's kind of not a good person.
Position with the previous scene where Aang is like reach inside and you think feel your feelings.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you just listen to him in the first? Like he told you the same thing in the first episode. Did you forget that? Hello.
And then Jet is like it's like your Patronus. Like shut up, Jet.
It's your Patronus.
No, don't bring that into this.
2024, Delaney's still at it.
I have to. I'm
You're
sorry.
still at it.
That's why it makes me so mad because it's like so basic.
But by the way, Jeff had to step out, which is why he's not talking. He'll be back later.
I have a thought
Yes.
about Jet coaching Katara. I don't know. Like I think that can speak to a complexity in his character. Like maybe he. I'm sorry. I'm gonna write like fan fiction for this character now.
I was like, wow, all right.
No, it's like maybe that's where he draws his strength to do what he does and what he thinks is right, is remembering like, the spirit of his mother fighting and all that sort of stuff. And maybe he's trying to draw from that to give advice to Katara. So yeah, it's not like he's a great person, but
it doesn't feel right coming from him specifically, but I guess it makes sense.
I think that they were trauma bonding.
No, only Katang is allowed to trauma bond.
Yeah, I mean they kind of did in the original a little bit there too. So
yeah,
Jet's like, here's my trauma. Now it's your turn to talk about your trauma. And Katara, it's very vaguely talks about her. Katara says, "It was quiet the night that my mom died."
I'm just waiting. Like we have to be getting more, right? Like there's gonna have to be a big.
Well, they keep showing like a snippet of it every 5 seconds.
They do.
It's
it was quiet the night that my mom died.
But like then they get raided and
then the Fire Nation attack.
It's very not fire.
And then it was, but just the deliver. I mean, look, Katara's actress did her best. That line. The way it was directed.
The very weird.
I'm not a fan. I'll say that. I'm not a fan.
I feel like she's trying her hardest and nothing is
I look, in general, as much as I'm positive on this episode, this show's dialogue is still
it's
not
so
good.
bad.
It's extremely basic. They're not trying to have complex dialogue, I think, on purpose to try to not have try to have a show that appeals to everyone. And when you try to appeal to,
we use a $5 word.
Yeah.
Here's a thought that I had. So in rewatching the original, I kind of did notice that the dialogue in that one was pretty basic when it was like going through plot important stuff. It kind of spelled it out a little bit more than would be, I don't know, not normal, but like that then you would see like on a show that was more aimed for adults. And it feels like they're kind of taking the spirit and putting it in this show as well, which it doesn't work. Because the tone is completely different, because we're showing like, all this, I don't know, the cost of war and the cost of violence, and it's real people speaking, and like it's obviously for an older age group, but we still have the very simple dialogue and like pointing out the obvious. I think there was one point where Jet like pointed out to Katara like, oh, he's Fire Nation, like obviously he's Fire Nation if he's firebending and dressed in red. Like, geez, bro. I didn't need that.
Oh yeah, Tanya was like, could you be a little bit more obvious?
Yeah, like you gotta dress in red. I think that's a very interesting point by Sam, and more charitable, I guess, understanding of what the show is going for, maybe than what I was thinking. But it's kind of the same thing. But so like Avatar, like ultimately, as much as everyone thinks like, it's not actually a kid show, it's for adults, it does have this core 6 to 11 demographic, so they're gonna spell things out and do stuff like that. And maybe this show is also ultimately trying to have a core demographic that like kids can watch this show, even if people are getting burnt up. I don't know. But I was thinking that they're just like purposefully dumbing it down to make sure this appeals to kind of everyone. We're not going for like prestige TV type writing, which you don't need to try to like write like an award show, but you can try to write complexity.
Well, if you want my cynical take, I think that they're also just they don't care. Not that they don't care. I'm sorry, not that's kind of rude of me, but just phoning it in.
For me, they seem very much more focused on how everything looks
Mhm.
and like then what
It's the
the
look, yeah.
substance
Obviously,
Should
the
have been more
visuals are
concerned
great.
with how it looks, honestly.
Fair.
I understand like thinking that like maybe we're just phoning it in or it's not written very well, but I feel like in some respects this episode is so intricately written with the way it
Yeah,
combines
yeah.
all these plot lines. We bring Zuko and Iroh in, and we have stuff going on with Azula, and that connects to Zhao with connections. Like I feel like so much intentionality at the very least is put into the scripts. At the
And
very
yet
least
they're
into
like-
the
and then they're
season
like-
planning.
No, that's the
Uh,
thing. Like that's how I feel. Like there's this overarching like they really know what they're doing. Like how we're gonna boil this show down. What are we gonna do? And then some stuff we're doing is really interesting with our characters, like Azula and Ozai. And then they're like, I don't know how to write dialogue.
Yeah.
Which makes
The
me
dialogue
think
is
that
very
it's
weak.
which makes me think it's like on purpose to some extent that we're trying to kind of write basic dialogue to appeal to a basic audience, and by the I'm kind of spoiling overall once we get to the end of the show my overall thoughts, even though I've only seen 3 episodes. But if I had to guess the creative differences that Mike and Brian left over, I think it would
the
be
dialogue?
exactly what we're not like the dialogues, but what we're talking about. The fact that Netflix wants this to ultimately appeal to a base kind of general demographic, and it needs to be written in a very basic way, and maybe they had higher ambitions. That would be my guess. It's
makes
also
sense.
charitable
For me,
to Mike
is
and Brian.
they keep mentioning this Game of Thrones kind of. You can't have Game of Thrones and then write it like SpongeBob. Like you can't.
I feel like SpongeBob
which is kind of
is still better than this.
SpongeBob
I know,
is a
I-
very smartly written show, but this is kind of what the show is. Yeah,
This is
It's
the
kind of
dialogue
true.
specifically.
I'm like, you
Like
can't, like they're like we want it to be this Game of Thrones, which Game of Thrones is a very intricate political show, and then to do this, I'm like you can't just have it be like
to be fair, I think the politics are shining through more in this version.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I do think ultimately this is like Game of Thrones for kids, is how Netflix is thinking about it and how they want Mike and Brian to show it.
Game
And-
of Chairs.
And
Baby's first Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Baby's
Game of High
Thrones,
Chairs.
and Mike and Brian are like, no, actually, maybe I do want to turn the Avatar into a actual Game of Thrones. Not that Game of Thrones is this incredible thing, but at least it's like very complex.
I don't know, Game of Thrones is kind of an incredible thing until you get to season 8.
I've never seen or read it, so I have no opinion.
I would be
Don't
shocked
read-
if you had, Sam.
Don't.
Okay.
I don't care about that kind of stuff.
But you care about Avatar. I mean,
I do.
We at least did, and we still do because we did.
You
but
cannot
would we?
surpass it. We're literally talking about
But would
Yeah,
we
obviously, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about it if I didn't care about
Okay,
it. But I don't care about Game of Thrones.
The
so.
themes of let's talk about the themes of Jet. I do think, and we're talking about the episode is at the very least intricately written. I think the themes and what they're going for is a prime example of that. Again, it's kind of baby's themes because we have one point where Aang is with Teo and Teo's like, if not, who's going to stand up to tyranny? And he doesn't say that, but if not me, then who? And then 2 seconds later, Jet says the exact same thing. So it's like, okay, that's the theme we're going for. But I like that theme though, and it's presented kind of in a very, very dumb way, but that is in its own ways kind of the themes of these episodes that they're pulling from to some extent. I don't know about if that was, I don't remember enough of the Northern Air Temple if that was there. But people thinking they're doing the right thing, taking action to stand up for what they believe in, to protect their own people. Are there methods of going about that what we should be doing? Much more effective with Jet. I mean, I guess the Mechanist is just protecting himself and his kid. But Jet has good intentions, is that the reason why he's a complex character, I guess. Like, he is trying to fight for what's good, even if he's intentionally killing people. And I think that comes through with this episode. I think the thing that I would have liked to potentially see more to augment the complexity is if they didn't have a scene where Jet was like, yeah, I know I'm killing innocent people. That's what we got to do, you know? I feel like maybe a more complex way is not that he's so obviously trying to kill innocent people, because I feel like the Jet equivalents in the real world aren't like, oh, I'm going to go kill these people, but it's for the greater good. I feel like that's a very cartoony way to look at this type of person.
I don't know. Like, it is pretty accurate though. Like,
of how people think in real life.
I guess it's the difference between if Jet is like a villain or like a more of a good person with like some streaks of gray.
I mean, he's a terrorist, so.
But I think Jet would be more interesting if he was less obviously kind of portrayed as a villain, like in the show, and I don't think he's necessarily.
I do think what he's doing in this episode is more nuanced than what was happening in the original episode.
Yes, that's true. So he was just trying to flood a village, which that's pretty.
Tried to attack an old man, and Sokka was there, and all that.
So I guess here he is purposefully blowing up a thing, and then it's going to blow up the king and a bunch of guards. But I guess that is more nuanced than Florida City. Yeah, that's true.
It's more. He's not like, I'm going to blow up all of Omashu.
Yeah, I'm going to blow up a bunch of innocents.
Yeah, he's like, I'm blowing up this place because the spies were here, even though and then he's like, I'm going to blow up the king because the king's bad now, and then people would get hurt in the meantime. But yeah, I guess it is a more nuanced version. I kind of want the version of Jet that's like, not so obvious that what he's doing is wrong. Because I feel like the audience sees what Jet's doing and is like, yeah, this is wrong. But, I guess take a step back. Personally, I feel like my, view politics or whatever are, not like saying I agree with Jet or anything, but it's much closer there than when we were kids. Like, I don't know if you guys think in that same sense, but I'm more open to kind of out of the box tactics to elicit change now.
I for sure am.
So I'm like yearning for the Jet portrayal that is that, but not so obviously.
Something that would be more
so bad.
Something that would be better, which I was really like. I think they're getting there, but they haven't done it yet. Is I need Aang to be like, I don't kill people. He hasn't done that yet, and I was waiting for him to say.
That's true. We haven't gotten into that.
I was waiting for him to say it to Teo, because Teo's like, bomb the firebenders. So it'd be different if Jet was only killing firebenders or bad people, quote unquote. He's not. Innocent people are getting hurt when you bomb a building that people live in.
Yeah, I think exactly. And it's regardless of the specific actions, there's like literally the dialogue, and maybe it's back to the dialogue in a scene where Katara's like, you're hurting innocent people. And he's like, yeah, so like,
he's like, that's the price of freedom.
Yeah. It's pretty basic, I think.
Yeah.
That being said, the type of discussion we're having is great for relative to what I expected from the show after the first two episodes. You know what I mean? Like we're at least having kind of a complex theme discussion surrounding what they're showing. So I overall I do really like what we're getting into with Jet. Well, we see. I'd be cool if Jet was integrated completely, into what's going on now.
I was wondering, are we going to see him again? I mean, he's important in book 2, but like, are we going to?
The people that aren't us know the answer to that, but so it's hard to speculate. We're still being Omashu, so I'm interested to see more. And in Avatar, Jet does come back and is he redeemed? To what extent?
Well, I think ultimately he redeems, but it's in his death, sadly.
Oh.
Rip.
I literally actually forgot that he died.
I was like, well, I mean, it was pretty unclear. So.
Didn't we have, it was unclear. Didn't we have a meme about this? Yeah. Like, it's all coming.
Is that not the meme straight up?
It's just that it was, did he die? Yeah.
Unclear.
I don't know. Any thoughts on, continued thoughts on Jen? We can bring it back to Jen and Katara, because that's,
boo!
More interesting.
I want to get more into what you were just talking about, like about how if we could have a more nuanced, like making it like not so obviously, like it's more of a gray area what he's doing, but it's too complicated to get into on a podcast.
They're going to that to some extent with he is standing up for refugees. He has a family. He likes it, So, but then I feel like when you show him saying like, yeah, I know we have to kill innocent people, I feel like you're just taking away from
also
pretty much
you're swinging the judgment hammer or whatever.
We also spent a lot of time in the beginning watching the aftermath of the bombing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which the bombing is that's like the equivalent of the flood, the Jet's actions in the show. So I think them, and it is maybe less obviously bad.
God, it was in such terrible slow motion too.
It was. It's true.
I don't like their use of slow mo in this show at all.
Yeah, should we recap all of the Jet and Katara flirting?
No. Did they even flirt? I didn't even like.
Yeah, there was flirting.
Well, Jet was definitely flirting with Katara, and I think it's maybe less obvious here that she's like affected by it? Because I feel like there's an obvious blush in the
No,
animated show.
this does make me happy because she's not. It's not as drawn out and it's not as like bad.
Like she's obviously caught up in it here, but it's not as like, oh, I have this huge crush on you type
Yeah,
of thing.
no, it's like she's interested in him as a whatever.
She's almost more interested in him as a person and what he stands for and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
That's lame. That's not shipping.
God, she likes him for his personality. Terrible.
Yeah, but come on. But yeah, I mean, come on with the age thing. Like, I don't know. This is what we'll show as romantic, but we won't do Katara Aang because Aang's so young, but Katara's also so young.
Don't you know it's only okay for the girl to be younger?
It's kind of, is that what we're saying? Honestly?
This is what I have a huge problem with the whole debate. Katang is not, get into it, but we're not going to.
Anything about Jet's treehouse?
I didn't like the way it looked.
Why?
Really
Why not?
It's just underwhelming. I mean, compared to the animated, it's gorgeous in the
I guess it was like lower down.
It was not.
It's so underwhelming. Like in the series, they have them go up like in the trees.
They have
on,
a whole,
like,
I feel like they have a whole like zip line thing going on.
Yeah,
Should've
it's so
gone to go into
intricate,
treehouse,
and the
which we
colors
did
are gorgeous. And here, everything is just muted, and this is not meant
do remember
for live
the-
action.
The Jet episode being like one of the most beautifully animated.
It was
episodes of Avatar.
so
Yeah, it was
gorgeous,
very-
and this. How are you? Animation is superior.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you can go. There's a more realistic portrayal of the Jet treehouse.
Yeah.
I guess.
Real
I did
trees
like
are.
how-
That's not true.
I like how many people were there. There were lots
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, I
Lots
don't
of,
remember. Were there that many people?
Yeah, there were a lot of kids.
but now there's a lot of people here. I enjoyed it, frankly. I don't know. I thought that it felt more like temporary. It felt like they just set up camp like a couple weeks ago and that they didn't like make a home there yet. It felt more in flux, which feels, I don't know, appropriate for
That's
like,
fair.
the whole refugee thing. So
Nice. Anything else on Jet?
no.
Okay, let's talk about
You
Azula.
really
Let's talk about
don't like him, huh?
Azula. Talk about
Yes,
Azula.
let's.
Azula's
Queen.
scary.
We
Yeah,
bring
she's
in
awesome.
This is a big deal. We bring in Azula in season 1. Not just season 1, episode 3. We talked about her intro already with her infiltrating the rebel group.
It was very good. I love the way that episode was set up this way.
Yeah, I do think there was again some basic dialogue in this scene. So
Mhm.
The dialogue was basic, yes, but like the premise of like
it's yeah, I like what they're going for here. With what do we think of Azula? And then I think the main thing is like she's like was she maniacally smiling while her dad burned someone, or was she reveling in it, or was she happy about like what's going on? I feel like overall Azula comes across less unhinged, for lack of a better term, because there's not a lot of nuance with Azula in the original show in that respect. Than in the animated show so far. Is that what they're going to be going for with this character?
I hope so.
no comment.
Because Allie knows secrets.
Yeah. I guess how about just in this episode? Because I do think I was like, oh, that big smile. I feel like that's us harkening back to this type of thing animated Azula does. But other than that, she's really just obsessed with Zuko.
I mean, here's the thing. I was never a staunch Azula defender. Even now, I don't know if I
I mean,
am.
she's Delulu.
No, I mean, she's fantastic. She's an incredible character. I was just never like, she needs to be redeemed, or like, she needs to like, it needs to like, we have to understand like why she became crazy. It was always like one of those things you don't have to tell us, because we've kind of like, we could put 2 and 2 together. Like the audience isn't that stupid.
It's not that hard.
In
when
this
your dad
sense,
does
I
that.
feel like they might be again trying to hold our hand as the audience, but I don't think they're doing it in a bad way. Like I think showing the subtleties and like not having her be like actually unhinged from the get-go works better, and it also helps you put in perspective that she is 14. Not saying that 14-year-olds can't be unhinged, but it was a little hard to remember watching the original series.
I do think
she
that's
really
a key
acted
aspect,
like a general like tactician crazy person.
Right, she acts like an 18-year-old general in the animated show. But
Older
here
even.
she looks so young, so
Yeah.
it's feel like it's different. Sam, what do you think from this episode? What do you think of the portrayal so far of Azula?
Honestly, I enjoy it. I like how she's, I don't know, they're kind of giving her a little bit more to work with, because I think that they're not going to make her as unhinged as she was. Like they're giving her some, I don't know, some, God, I don't want to say it, issues with her father.
Yeah,
Daddy
Make her
issues.
mad.
But like, not like they were, obviously they didn't really have to say it that much in the original because, Ozai's her father, as Delaney said, I believe. But it wasn't really explored as much, and I'm
Yeah.
excited for.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying I'm excited. I saw the whole thing, but I'm pretending.
You want it to be different. You're excited for them to see
Yeah.
how they're going to do it differently.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited that it's different. I'm excited that she has more to work
Yeah.
with.
Also,
I'm
it makes
happy.
me wonder what they're going to do with their mom.
Yeah.
Also,
anything.
Ozai just had like the whiniest kids possible.
I'm sorry, Sam. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just saying how I enjoyed that May and Ty Lee were there. I like how
Yes.
I don't know. They're sort of not in the original. They were kind of afraid of her, and you could tell, obviously. But in here, it's less of that. I don't know. Azula feels a bit more human.
I kind of got the vibe that they were still scared of her. Well, at least
Yeah,
May, because when she brought up Zuko.
But I think it was more like I'm scared of making my friend mad. Not I think she's gonna kill me right now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, more of that.
I liked the fact that May and Ty Lee were there, but it did seem like, why are they there?
Yeah, true.
Like we know they're her friends, but if you're coming in as an outsider and you're seeing these two girls like just hanging out with the Fire Nation princess, you're like, I was talking to Nate about this. We're like, are they your servants? Like that seems like the only reason they're here. They're just standing around, just like supporting you no matter what. Like, are they paid to be here? What's the deal?
Definitely not as good introductions to May and Ty Lee.
No, it's a huge letdown in that sense. I do like that they're here because it's like fan service, but
so in terms of Azula family dynamics, so we get the implication just in this episode that Ozai is going to be pitting her against Zuko because, which I remember being the case from the animated show.
It just wasn't as overt.
Yeah,
it's so far it's just this one thing, and he's like, "Oh, Zuko's filling up his end of the bargain, Azula?" Nudge, nudge. So, and then she's just spends the rest of the episode obsessed
from
about
New York, even.
Yeah, that's someone should just walk in with a New York accent into the show.
She's just so good at archery. Like she's training with the.
Yeah, why is that
archers.
happening anyway? I don't know.
Why not?
I remember some archery scene. I feel like with one of them.
With
I can't
Azula?
remember.
I think it was
or May or Ty
Lee.
Lee. Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't it in the show?
Well, it's because Ty Lee was doing it with her feet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
wait, when was this?
I think that's probably in her first
intro.
episode.
Yeah.
Azula's?
No, Ty Lee's. Yeah, is it the same
No, she
episode?
was-
I think
No,
Ty
it's
Lee was
not.
in.
No, Ty Lee and May
okay.
get introed and Return to Omashu.
Yeah.
Okay, it's from that.
There's no archery going on.
In here or in there?
In there.
Yeah, there's somewhere there is. Somewhere.
There.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm telling you, Kylie shoots an arrow with her feet.
What
Yeah.
episode? I have to.
How about let's talk about May
We're
and Ty
gonna
Lee.
have to go through all these episodes.
I'm gonna
again
do
and be
it.
Like, how many times did we try to remember what happened in Avatar but couldn't?
and get it
Yeah,
wrong?
someone keep a counter. But last thing about Azula, though, very it's definitely set up to be rivaled with Zuko. That seems to be her primary thing here. We'll see what else, like how that plays out this season. What else we get into with Azula, but definitely.
I am a huge fan and proponent of this.
I'm
and then
excited.
and then
I like it.
she writes to Zhao.
And Zhao's
saying,
like, "This is the big time because I suck." Officer
the big time because the 14-year-old princess
I love
talked to
that.
me.
It's so good.
She is the princess, to be fair.
Yeah, so they'll be colluding together, which I think is a good idea. Again, they have a lot of good ideas in how to high level work in these plot lines because you need more things for Zhao to do, and because you're changing his character a lot, tying him to Azula, I think is a good idea.
Yeah, for
setting up the
sure.
season.
Agreed.
By extension, he will become crazier.
Right, it's two very over the top characters that are going to be a lot less over the top in this show.
So
But
together,
they're together, so maybe it works
So they balance
together.
each other out.
So it's an interesting pairing. I would have loved to have seen them together in actual Avatar.
They were for that one scene when they stood next to each other.
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end. Or they stood next to Iroh, but
Yeah,
next to each
that
other.
we didn't see that I am still theorizing we might see expanded upon in the show, but I don't know. May and Ty Lee. I feel like in addition to Azula, May and Ty Lee seem much younger in the show.
especially May.
Mhm.
I think especially Ty Lee.
Their wigs look really bad. I'm sorry.
May's
Like,
wig is
who-
pretty bad.
The costume department, makeup department, great. Wig people, you might.
I think it is probably very hard to make them reflective of the animated hairstyles.
They're
But
like,
that's the thing. You don't have to.
They
do
They could have
that.
just changed it, but it's so iconic. I feel like both of their hair. Don't you
I
need
mean,
to...
not That
I will say I
iconic.
get so happy every time I see Katara because I'm like, hair loopies.
No offense, it's not hard to
loopies.
make a girl with bangs and then a girl with a braid. You can just make it a little different.
So what do we think of May? We haven't seen a lot of May and Ty Lee so far. I think they're going for their general personalities. But
Yeah, Ty Lee's golden retriever. May is black cat.
yeah. Ty Lee, I know her actress from The Babysitter Club. So that's exciting.
Wow.
Give me
So-
Azula show. Do it. Make it happen.
Yeah, and I think they're. I think this is similar enough age. I think they could do that. I don't think they would do it this season. But
They're
that'd be
dropping the hints
interesting.
though, because she's like, "You're the best."
It's weird seeing Ty Lee. I will say it's kind of creepy, but it's weird seeing Ty Lee as like super young looking when we were young watching. Ty Lee was like hot to us. I feel like,
gosh.
you know?
You're not wrong.
Rewatching The Beach was a lesson in, I don't know, grotesqueness.
Why?
She has so much cleavage in that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
episode.
there's a lot of Ty Lee cleavage. I feel like, and definitely not going for that in this show, which is probably a good idea if they're that age, I guess. But we could have also aged up everyone. But regardless, this is probably a good idea. But so far, I mean, you know, I don't know if we've seen enough of them being super evocative of their characters from the animated show just in this one scene, I guess. But will we see May and Zuko later from the show? assume.
I don't
Good
know.
question.
It
I don't know.
seems like they're setting it up because
May
she was the
seems
one to
very
bring
young.
Zuko up in the first place.
So yeah, May brings Zuko up, so they could be setting that up. She seems very young though. How old is
Yeah,
May's
he might be
I
too
actress?
old.
feel
for
like
her.
they're all the relatively same age gap in the show.
I thought May and Zuko were the same age, or she was a year younger.
I think she's like a year younger. She's a year older than Katara, something like that.
I mean, it definitely feels like Zuko's actor is older than May's actress by a lot in this show, but I don't
Does
know.
it? I don't think so.
I don't know.
We haven't even
Sure.
seen them together.
I think more than anything, it was just yeah, we haven't, so we'll see. I think more than anything, it was just exciting.
I
seeing
will
the three
say
of them here.
Zuko, like the actor, seems a lot younger than Zuko seems in the show.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he's part of it. He's emphasizing the whininess that comes with being a teenager
so
and also being Zuko, but he's doing it so well.
Yeah, I guess Zuko's actor was only 20 during filming.
Yeah, I
so-
don't think he looks older. Like you guys keep saying Jet and Zuko look way older, and I do not think so.
I think it's. I mean, so they're both the two you mentioned about 20 during filming. I think it's more that just Katara looks very young.
She
I
does.
think. I think the like 14-year-old girls look like very much like they're 13, 14 so far. But and notably to all this discussion, whenever because they're probably not going to do any of this romance stuff this season, everyone will be a few years older during season 2, which doesn't happen during the show, so that'll be interesting. Any other thoughts, May, Ty Lee, Azula?
This
No.
scene doesn't make any sense. I don't like it. Just like the
Just-
layout of the scene itself. Like,
Yeah, I don't really know why they're shooting arrows, but it's fine. It's whatever.
I just like that she's mad, so she's just shooting arrows at this letter.
I did like the way she goes, "He's done the impossible." Like that's her imitation. She really is giving teenager, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Azula, I feel like Azula's just such a over-the-top animated character. It's
People are gonna be pissed.
it's so impossible to do a real version of her, I feel like. Especially if they're trying to do like a gritty
Well,
show.
that's the thing. It's not impossible to do a real version of her because I think they're doing it well here. It's impossible to do a like exact version of
It
her
is-
from
it-
the cartoon here.
a replica of her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're adapting her in a more realistic way, potentially.
Yes, I think very well
Cool.
so far.
Nice. Zuko and Iroh went into Omashu, as we mentioned. Zuko has a fight with Aang.
That was
Um,
great. I
Oh,
love
he's
that.
so good, and
That was
he's just
really,
like
really
making
good.
a fool out of him. It's so
Threw
good.
them through the market.
It felt like the first Avatar fight, I feel.
Yeah, it reminded me of what is the episode? Bato of the North, where they're like fighting on the water on the well.
Oh yeah,
It's a little
Yeah,
bit
I was-
reminiscent of that, just
I
because
was wondering if we're doing Bato in any respect and the
good
deserter,
question.
but we'll see. I was looking forward to because it's like, oh, the action, like, oh, well, the Aang and Zuko have some great fights in Book One. I feel like then this isn't even a real one of them that was in the show, but it's in the spirit of it. I feel like, and we make use of the environments. They're like fighting in like scarves or something at some
I
point,
love how mad he got about him taking his diary.
and
you have my notebook.
he was like, oh, be calm, don't firebend, but then you have my notebook, so now I'm gonna blow
So
up.
funny.
Ah, my cabbages.
Yeah.
And then the cabbages. Okay,
Got
briefly, Cabbage Merchant.
Yes.
We're big Avatar fans. Were we really excited to see the Cabbage Merchant?
Yes.
Here?
Yes.
Yeah,
The whole
of
time I was like, where
course.
is he? Good stuff.
Okay. You guys are more hype about this than I am.
What
I'm
do
very,
you
And then
I'm
they
jaded
brought
at this
Cabbage-
point about the Cabbage Merchant.
Come on, it's the Cabbage Man.
We liked him during Avatar's run, and now I think it's been blown out of proportion as a meme.
I mean,
And
I mean, yeah,
Yes.
he even had his own corporation in Korra.
True. I will say I'm more bummed
the core
out.
stuff was closer to it. It's valid, I think. The core stuff.
I'm more
This is
bummed
the
out that we didn't
universe.
get Foamy.
No foamy.
Yeah,
but
no
we do Cabbage.
I'm really stoked about it also because the voice actor is reprising the role.
Yeah, so it's,
Yeah, that's what
the
I
voice
thought,
actor. Yeah.
It's really cool.
We have to build up to it a few times, and then we get the overhead shot with my cabbages.
I mean, it only works because of the way it's been memed for the last decade, but it was done very well. And it's fan service that works, not just like for the sake of fan service.
I kind of thought it was for the sake of fan service.
Well, I mean, something like I feel like putting
But it
May
was
and
from the
Kylie here,
episode, so-
literally have them do nothing, is like basic stupid fan service. This is at
And
least like
that's not-
funny.
That's not fan service. They're trying. They just had to put their characters somewhere to start with.
Did
Assuming they'll be in
they,
the, assuming they're in the
though?
season. Well, okay, actually, for all I know, they might not be. If they're not in any other episodes of the season, then sure, then you're right, and which I feel like might be true. But I assume they're going to be this scene feels like they're going to be in the rest of the season.
Like,
So I'm
you-
going to be disappointed if they're not.
What if they don't do anything?
If they're just there talking to Azula, then I guess they're Azula's friends. Whatever. I don't know.
There's
no
BFFs.
You know, if you think about Avatar, what was Azula doing during season 1? Probably something like this with May and Ty Lee were there. Or
Yeah.
I guess they were. I guess they were in their own places.
Yeah, but no, they weren't
So-
there. She had to like recruit them.
At some point, they were all together, though.
Were they? Maybe.
Well, they're old friends from the Fire Nation, and then they leave. Is that how it works?
May, I think, probably stayed. Tylee was like in the circus or whatever.
They knew each other before, obviously.
They're friends.
I don't know, this fan service is
They're
good.
just having girl time, of
They're-
course.
You
That's
talk
what
about
girls do. They just talk about your dumb brother who
Yeah.
caught the Avatar,
yeah.
and your dumb dad, and
Who keeps
General
testing you.
Lyro, or
Can't we
I don't
just
know.
paint our nails
yeah, right? Why can't we just throw knives instead of archery?
and have pillow fights and light people on
I
fire?
I would love if we had a beach-like episode with just
In season 1.
slice of life,
I
Azula.
think a Slice of Life Azula episode would be hilarious.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Actually, Slice of Life Ozai episode.
It's just a political drama.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
what
so
he's
we-
doing.
We see, is this the first? Oh, we saw Ozai for the first time at the end of last episode, but we see him more here. So, any new thoughts on Daniel Day-Kim as Ozai?
He's pretty.
I like him.
Fantastic voice.
I don't like that goatee, but I don't like any of the facial hair really,
That's-
because most of it is
Fair.
just fake.
It's valid.
The hair is hard. It's very hard to replicate a lot of the hair from the animation, but like I feel like it's not that hard.
I think they've done a really good job with Zuko's hair because his hair is ridiculous.
Yeah. They're doing a great job with the main cast's hair, but like some of the others.
Thank God Aang is bald.
True.
I don't know. His
Are they
bald
gonna
is
put a
very-
wig
is
on him
very
in season
noticeable
3, or
to
they're
me.
just gonna make Gordon grow his hair?
Oh yeah. No, well he can just have his real hair then.
Yeah, his
probably.
real hair just looks like Aang's hair. It's wild.
Yeah.
I would appreciate if we stopped having Fire Lords just burn someone
I
to establish
agree.
that they're intimidating. Like, I think we can move on now.
I'm over it. Yeah.
It's
I will say we did get the whole like walking into the throne room and everything lights up. That was pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
we saw the version of that. That's
I
nice.
still want to know how that works. Do they have firebenders in the back just all the time?
I just assumed they had like a line of kerosene or something.
something that he ignites and then it lights up everywhere. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Any
I
other
do
thoughts on
kind of
Zook?
like the idea of people being in the floor doing it.
The energy bill must be insane.
It's all fire though. There's
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it's all their bending. Is there no electricity? Wait, is there electricity in the show?
There's electricity in Korra.
In Korra.
in
not
Korra,
this
but
one.
not in this show. Yeah, we're 1800s. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not really notable for this episode, but not knowing what happens, Iroh stays in Omashu after this. He
I
does
know.
run away at the end, so it's unclear what will happen to him.
I have a little bit of a problem with that.
I
Why
have a big
did
problem
he?
with that.
Yeah, why did he have to like be like Zuko, go? I'll take care of it. Like I thought that they were getting through the crowd fine, and they would have escaped
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it didn't.
I agree with
It
you.
didn't seem necessary. This is just their way of like doing that
Traumatizing
plot of
it.
him getting
Also,
captured.
Yeah,
like, did they
yeah.
arrest Aang just cause, or do they think he's a firebender?
Well, I think
He
Didn't
was
he say
causing
he's
a
the
ruckus.
in the original episode, I think he probably gets taken to Boomy, and then Boomy.
Oh yeah, he
reveals who
he does get
is.
arrested, I think.
So
But didn't
I think it's the
he
version of that.
advertised his being the Avatar, didn't he?
I thought he just told Teo.
He was airbending though, so the people saw him airbends. It seems like. But yeah, Iroh. Yeah, I mean the what they're going for with the Iroh thing is he like get out Zuko, I'll distract them. I'm the firebender. They're looking for one firebender. But yeah, I think they could have just both gotten out. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Also, like Zuko, what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna get on your boat and cry? Like, what are we doing?
He's gonna go to G. What's his name?
Oh, G
Lieutenant G?
G.
Okay,
Yeah,
what?
G,
Like he's like a turncoat. Like,
yeah.
so
He's just a gossip. G.
Yeah.
Do we know that it's him that spoke to Zhao?
Yeah, he said
They
that.
said that in this episode.
Said him by name.
I still like him.
He's cool. He just likes gossiping about people.
Well, it's funny. He's the one who gave the information to him, and then he's like, "Oh, I heard Admiral Zhao."
Yeah, he
just loves drama.
We
love,
oh my god,
he's here for the drama. I'm telling you.
Oh my god, he's Gina George.
Okay, we're gonna end the pod now because that was
look
awesome.
at his sideburns are so.
He's
big,
a massive deal.
They're full of secrets. Okay.
I did like out of that. I liked how kind of it seems like Zuko's more uptight. He's more obsessed with rules and order and that form of honor as well.
Yeah, that's how they establish the honor.
They're doing that very, very well, and in my Asian friends' reviews, very authentically to like dynamics of Asian cultures, and
I think that's what they're going for. Yeah.
And I wonder if we're gonna get that like clash when he's like, "Oh, my father wouldn't agree with this," when he thought it was the Firebenders doing the bombs, and he's like, my father wouldn't do this, but then like your daddy's going.
Oh yeah.
Dude, why did he say that right in front of the pie show vendor? Like, God, y'all, look, that happened in Avatar, the original series, way too much. They just talked about things in the open. Like, can't y'all just?
Nope.
Go somewhere more like private.
That's true. I didn't think about that. They had not conquered anywhere in the Earth Kingdom. They were traveling around in the first season, and they are really just advertising the fact that they're Fire Nation.
Yep.
Well, Zuko wasn't supposed to firebend, but they're still.
This is before they firebend. It was just they were
just like walking around.
Bought the Lotus tile, and like their backs were to
also, like, Zuko,
the vendor,
like,
and they started talking about the Fire Nation. Oh, my father wouldn't approve of this. Like, bro.
Well, for me, it's Zuko walking around being like, "Oh, it's like dirty and nat." Like, keep your voice down.
Yeah, for real.
Like, I'm gonna have to fight somebody because of you. Like,
that was also
that's very Zuko,
though, like the nationalism that he has.
Yeah.
Like somebody's gonna square up with you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna refrain from telling the full. There's a clip of Avatar in the Mean Girls remake story, but there is a clip of Avatar.
There is. You shouldn't refrain from that. It involves the boulder.
Yeah. It was so random. Anyway,
it was
I didn't notice it the first time.
I didn't either. But really
it's a split second. It's
Avatar. This is Avatar's year.
That's Paramount synergy going.
Wait,
on.
was Mean Girls last year or this year?
This year.
Okay, cool.
Wait, what?
The new remake.
The musical
remade
remake.
it. Oh, it's a musical remake. I don't care.
And there's an Avatar reference in it.
It was fun. Okay, anyway,
it was fun.
Jeff is back. Jeff, what did you think of Azula? Any thoughts on Azula, May, Ty Lee? That's I feel like the main thing we were talking about.
Was not as much a fan of May. I thought Ty Lee was an appropriate amount of bubbliness, and we'll see. But
Jeff wanted more emo.
Yeah.
She's a lot of good emo stuff in the show. I feel like we haven't tapped.
Oh, how did you feel, Jeff, about Zuko and Iroh? Like Iroh, like seemingly for no reason sacrificing himself.
That I did not enjoy that. I enjoyed it in so much that it made it for like a new story beat. Like, okay, cool. I guess that's how we're doing that. But wait, why? That was unnecessary, tactically speaking.
They were right there.
Yeah. We did see Iroh do a big firebend move. Maybe
it was pretty cool.
Maybe that's why we did that, and we're going to get into his backstory,
Always about it. Yeah. I'm ready to cry.
Did we get your takes on Jet?
The actor, I very much enjoyed his...
Or just like him being a thing.
Yeah. I could take it or leave it.
Fair.
Yeah, we'll get. But let's go back to Jet and Katara. Talk about that a lot more now.
Gosh.
You're killing Delaney.
I want to die.
What other things from we talked about the changes already. Just to emphasize again, it's called Omashu and there's no Boomy here. But
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
He was there.
I know-
for a
It's called
second.
Omashu.
I know
We're
it's
talk
gonna-
about
I know
Oma
he's
and Shu
next
if you want to go
episode.
there.
yeah, no Oma and Shu. Badger Moles? No.
Oh yeah.
Nothing yet. What else from the episode haven't we talked about? I feel like we did most things.
I wanted to see the airship. They just kept talking about it. Rude.
Did they?
Yeah, it's our
Oh
airship.
yeah. Oh, they. Excuse me. If you catch it in the background, I didn't until I went on Twitter. They hint at the drill in the Mechanist's workshop.
right.
There's a drawing in the back,
Just
and
like the real show.
doesn't Sokka they're helping him? He's helping him figure out the war balloon. So
The
I
airship.
think
Yeah,
season
they're
3.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Sokka and Katara have a fight.
Yeah, I really Sokka being like, what was she like?
I don't need you.
Where are you going? To prove you're a jerk. I don't need proof of that. That actually made me laugh.
So funny. I was like,
That
dumb.
was nice.
Like sometimes the humor hits. Do more like that. Do
Yeah,
more
I don't
like
know if I don't know if I laughed, but it was.
I mean,
okay
I didn't.
line.
I wasn't like dying, but I was like, yeah. Like you
My
know, when
wife
you,
said
when
that
you let
counts.
air out of your
His
nose.
humor
Come on.
falls flat.
blows. No, their lines in the fight before that though were. I didn't even write them down, but
Yeah, the
not good,
dialogue
so.
was strange.
And then it was like, grow up. Like, wow.
Yeah, grow
I'm-
up. That's
I'm not a big fan of Papa Sokka, honestly.
Me neither. I think I like their like sibling dynamic, but the dialogue is.
Guitar just
Okay.
took him out at the knees.
checking in on Katara's portrait. I feel like more apparent now.
Yes.
3 episodes. Look, good stuff, but I think more apparent to me that we don't have as much of her feisty side or whatever.
No.
Yeah, which I personally am not a fan of because
She feels
Like-
very unsure of
I
herself.
like her
I
feisty.
feel like in Jet, Katara probably got hot at Jet after, I don't know, maybe she was just disappointed. But we've really, this is a big thing. Katara very passionate.
Yeah.
And,
She hasn't talked about hope since the first episode.
I know. What are we supposed to do?
yeah. So I mean, I think this Katara is fine and everything, but
She did touch her necklace.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
you're
we
right,
got that.
you're right.
Yeah.
Finally got to talk about her dead
Talked
mom.
about her.
That was a
Her
big
mom.
deal.
Well, yeah, and we saw a shot of Kaya like looking at the camera.
I like her.
I agree.
She
Also-
seems cool.
I was wondering to myself, just a random Sam tidbit. Does she go out and watch the sunrise every day, even when it's like blizzarding and
Her
the sun
her mom.
can't
She
really
said
be seen?
Every day.
Sam.
Every day.
All right, well, I guess she's out there just early in the morning, snowing
Gotta
out
be
her
right
face.
now, the Thumbs up or
Maybe
no?
you can see it through the blizzard. I don't
Low
know.
I
sub-zero
don't know.
temperatures.
In the South Pole, maybe there's like super visible sunrise. Is that how that works?
Also, does it work like how? Is it like how in our world, how I don't know,
Oh,
the
yeah, like on
further
Earth.
north or the further south you go, a day can last a very long time or a very short
Yeah, I was
time.
gonna say maybe she
Yeah.
watches the sunrise every morning because the daylight is so limited. So it's like the sun rises and then the sun's gone for the rest of the day.
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, she gets up at 5 a.m., but it's probably later. I don't know. Don't quit. I don't
3
know how
o'clock
it
in the
works, but it's
morning.
probably late. No, it's probably later.
I'm looking this up. South Pole sun.
South Pole sunrise. What's the time today at the sunrise in the South Pole? Tell me.
This is what we need to know. This is what the people crave, right?
For
Yeah.
6 months of the year, the sun never rises, and for 6 months, it never sets.
Okay.
There you
So,
go.
Pretty extreme. So maybe it's different. Okay.
The Avatar world is flat.
No, we're not
It might
doing
be.
flat Earth theory, please.
Oh man.
The
Hey,
map.
let's
is
dive
flat.
into that. No, let's dive into a different conspiracy theory. We don't have Mel today. Who wants to step up to the plate and handle hidden Zutara today?
There was visible Zutara.
There
Yeah.
No,
was.
but we're
it's-
talking hidden Zutara.
Okay. Hidden Zoot. Oh, well, it's the notebook, obviously. He's mad that Aang has the notebook because it has all of his secrets about that water tribe girl that he can't stop thinking about, and then sees her in the marketplace with.
And touches her scarf and like smells her.
Yes, but that actually is okay. Well, the smell is the hidden.
That's
Zutara.
visible
Okay.
Zutara.
That's, I know that the
The smell is
touching is real, but I don't know if he was sniffing it.
The hidden
Jeff,
Zutara
are you seeing that hidden
is
Zutara?
Katara starting to be interested in this bad boy who also has edgy side to him.
I like that one.
That's my attempt.
Yeah, I think there's something there when she was getting very upset about the bombing. But I think it's because underneath she was like very upset that her image of firebenders informed by Zuko would behave so dishonorably.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She also believes
Wow.
in Zuko's code of honor with
Also,
because
they
even
would-
though firebenders attacked and like killed her mom and everything, but that was an honorable attack. So this was
An honorable ambush.
They could have like a conversation about how mad it made them both.
yeah. But yeah, I like I like this fanfic that Katara would have the similar Zuko honor code. That'd be good. But yeah, no, the actual Zutara scene of he notices her, and then
he notices her.
Well,
The
to be
scar-
fair, everyone on this planet is color coded.
so it's like here's the
True.
blue person in the brown city, yeah. But then
And her hair loopies.
he like touches the scarf as what is she? I don't remember. She runs by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People need to stop being delusional about it. I keep seeing it online. You need help.
There is
Hey,
someone
Jesus.
that I really
We're
like.
encouraging it.
No, we're not.
There's
I'm
a
done.
games journalist, and she was tweeting yesterday about Zutara, and I was like, I can't believe I'm going to have to block you. This is unacceptable.
There's the people are still saying
God, in the year of our Lord 2024,
Like,
we're
please.
still talking about
I can't- I'm gonna have to
we can't escape it. We
and
really can't.
Katang.
I really
Gosh.
didn't think I would be pulled back in like this. So, like, this.
Yeah. Okay. There we are. There's some.
I could care less, personally.
I care too much and it's incurable.
There's some actual non-hidden Zutara when Zuko brushes Katara's scarf.
Yes.
Oh,
True.
Yes,
Visible
yes, yes.
Zutara.
So did they put that in there
Yeah, probably.
for the Zutara, or probably not? Because they really aren't
I
looking.
mean, why else would they? That was
they-
so out of nowhere. It was
Just
Well,
as
they
like a
need
big
a
visual
reason
thing.
So for Zuko to be like, oh, the Avatar's that way.
Yeah. And that
but
was
the way
what
it
they
was
did.
shot is really giving like ship wars.
Hmm.
The way it was framed, I'm not feeling the director's vision here.
Should I start hidden Cat Ang since we're not doing it this season? So now I have to look for it. It's hidden.
Katang and hidden.
No, but it's hidden Cat Ang.
No.
And
No.
It's never gonna be Katang.
the actual
Stop trying
Cat
to
Ang
make Katang
is
happen.
they're like waterbending together. Aang's like teaching her how to waterbend in the beginning of the episode, except she's supposed to teach him how to waterbend and it hasn't happened yet.
Like,
in 3
come on.
episodes.
Yeah, he keeps
Well, she can't
saying
water whip yet. Okay.
he keeps saying, "Oh, I'm the Avatar," but
Yeah,
like,
you need
bro,
to
you
just
can only airbend. You need to
Are
like
you
step
really
it up.
And he is giving her waterbending advice when he
That's how I
hasn't
feel,
bent
too. I
water
was like,
once
we
this
did
whole
some water.
time.
Let's go.
Bend water one time,
Also,
then talk
when
to
does
me.
Katara get her little water sack? Like,
That's true. No satchel.
No
you know.
comment.
I guess it's
What?
coming then.
shut up.
Shut up. Yeah. Let's follow up on a big question from last podcast. Who would you give Milky to? out of-
No!
My wife says
was
you
not
should
a
give
pre- that
Milky
was not a
to
question.
Fire Lord
Yes.
Ozai.
It was not.
but in a different sense.
No,
right?
ew, stop.
As soon as we finish the episode, that's what my wife said. She said,
And I thought we were supposed to be kid friendly.
We're talking about milk.
Allie, you're the
telling
one
me?
who said it.
What are you
All
talking
right.
about? So which non-dairy milk would Aang drink? That's the question for
Which
today.
one is best for the
Soy?
environment?
It's a complicated
What
question.
would they
obviously.
have? Like, are they? 'cause
Yeah, what would they have? So I think my
it's
answer is
coconut?
soy milk because I think soy milk is traditionally drunk in Asia
Oh, yeah, that's
in the
true.
past.
It is quite
Uh,
delicious.
And it is generally very good for the
Soy
environment
is very
relative
good.
to milk. So I would pick soy milk for Aang.
I would.
Wow.
I'll stay on that one because I have no comment otherwise. It's milky. I hate
So
all of you.
give Aang soy milky. That's
Question.
the
Do sky bisons produce milk?
Oh my god, I guess so. They're mammals.
They're mammals. So
sky
yeah.
bison milk. Yeah, would Aang
Indian.
drink sky bison? Would Aang drink Appa's milk?
No. Oh my god.
Does Appa produce milk?
I don't think Appa
Appa
produces
is
milk.
not female. So
We don't know how that works with sky
Oh
bison.
gosh.
So you're saying he could be Mpreg?
Oh lord.
Allie.
Look, it was bound to be said at some point on this
Why?
series.
There was no reason to ever say it.
Because it's this group of people. That's why.
Okay, you know what? I will accept that. You're right.
Okay, let's go to the feedback here. We have we have an email from listener XCOCX13. Hi guys, longtime fan of the podcast since 2008.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
OG
honestly, I'm sorry.
OG fan since 2005. I think episode 3 was handled really well. Each of our main characters off on their own missions didn't feel like it overwhelmed the episode and juggled too much. The Freedom Fighters looked amazing. The fight between Zuko and Aang was inventive. Reminded me of an Indiana Jones type fight. The build up to the cab merchant finally saying his line was kind of annoying. I agree. Just say the line with no longer build up. It's much better. Also, Katara is finally showing emotion. Thank God. The little touch with the water whip hitting her face was nice. Still unsure about Azula and seeing Tylee and May so soon. Also, can we have Dallas lose He Ran from episode 2 as part of the intro? It lives in my head rent free. Is that? I guess that's his most iconic line.
He
so far.
ran.
He
Yeah.
ran.
I don't know if we're making a new collage from this show, but
Oh.
we
We
can think about
should.
it.
We absolutely should.
I don't know.
I think with how clunky the dialogue is, I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
There would be an funny, ironic quote line.
Yeah.
I take my worst lines from this show. That would be pretty good. Maybe I'll work on that for like the last podcast or
Yeah,
something.
I'm
Really,
imagining them
I'll
making
help with- I'll
Korra,
pay you
and
for that.
every time Tenzin speaks, it's just like the worst thing that's ever happened.
Oh yeah, the time. Yeah, we're
This
missing
is-
Ten. Can you imagine live action Tenzin dialogue?
Oh,
It would be-
As long as
Jesus.
he
So
still
good.
says White Lotus.
Also, except Tenzin, I know we want accurate casting, but like it has to be J.K. Simmons. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
It would be funny. Yeah, actual J.K. Simmons. Okay, Jeff, is there anything else from the episode that you would like to talk about?
I am not sure if they had. Okay, this is kind of a really big nit. The jar of blasting jelly
Okay.
is mostly glass or plastic, and I don't know if they could have. Like, when did we start being able to make glass cans? That I don't know. It gave me some anachronistic vibes. Is all.
I feel like glass existed then, but
Oh,
I don't remember seeing it in the
that's
Avatar
certainly-
world. I don't know.
Yeah, now
Glass-
that I'm thinking, I can't think of like seeing glass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining about the glass, but more the shaping of it. It looked machined.
Here, I'm gonna Google when did we make glass jars?
I feel like it's like ancient China or something. But yeah, they look machine made. Yeah, interesting.
I like the jelly itself. It looked like
1500
Nickelodeon slime.
That's what I'm telling you, Delaney.
The
Yeah.
first glass bottles were produced in Mesopotamia.
All right. Well, there it shows. I enjoyed Zhao.
Well,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Zhao in this episode.
Yeah. I think he's conniving. He's his own character now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Zhao here. He's acted very well. I can't quite tell. I mean, he's just so different. I feel like than our
Yeah.
Zhao.
Yeah.
It's like
I
a big,
like
it's like
him.
a big change.
I do too. Yeah, I like that change.
I have.
Wow.
Sorry.
No,
Oh,
go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
Jeff.
I had a separate topic. So
Yes.
Okay, I have a question about when, like, people here. I did not like Aang's character as far as his voice goes in the first episode, and I know I was in the minority there, but there's a scene here in this episode that, man, when he was joking about like, oh, I just don't listen. I'm not a very good listener.
Yeah,
I did not like. He
Oh.
sounded very.
I liked it.
Oh, you liked it?
So-
Okay.
Sometimes
Well-
he does sound very different to me. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really. It's very different from Aang. Like that delivery, I thought because it was like a little deadpan is why I chuckled at it. But it didn't really remind me of Aang necessarily. I was just kind of like, that's funny, huh? He's so silly and sarcastic.
I just think for the most part he's not trying to imitate Aang's voice.
Yeah, for sure. No,
But it's confusing because some of the actors are.
yeah.
if I saw Union
specifically
too.
Zuko, Iroh, Sokka. I think Iroh too.
No way. I don't think he's trying to.
I
do
think
his
his
lip at all.
I think his intonations. I think he's trying to get with
Maybe.
his like speech pattern. Katara. I don't. Yeah, I guess Katara's not either.
No.
But yeah, it is weird. Yeah. Zhao, I don't know. Anyway, we don't like Zhao is perfection in the anyway. That's what I was going to say. Perfection in the original series. So we don't like changing him, but I guess you can do a different version. That's fine.
What's this
and
we
it's also
thing?
good.
I liked it. Yeah, that's what I was never a staunch Zhao or Azula stan, so I'm happy with the changes.
Yeah,
I
same.
feel like we all liked Azula though.
I mean,
Yeah,
no, I
Azula
liked
was-
her.
she was
but-
badass, but
Yeah, but like I
Azula's super cool, but I'm not gonna hang out with her.
could never
Well, okay, sure.
think of her as like anything beyond an antagonist, and now I can.
Oh yeah, fair.
I was dumb and had like not that great media literacy as a kid.
To be fair, like, she's terrifying.
But she's also 14. Like,
Well, you were like, I don't know.
the same age.
Also,
I was Aang's
yeah.
age when the show started.
Yeah. Allie, anything else from the episode?
I don't think so. Oh, were Katara and Sokka on the? They were in the cart, right? Like the mail delivery
Yes.
system.
Yeah.
I thought the way that like they understood how to time the jump was strange. That's a huge nitpick. Like,
That was way OP. Yeah.
yeah. Wait,
I
no,
didn't
not
follow.
huge nitpick. The tiniest, teeniest, stupidest nitpick I have. I still think this episode.
That's a huge nitpick. Yes.
Yes, as a whole, huge improvement from the last 2 episodes, and I would like to see it continue at this pace. I also will say I really want to talk about the next episode, and I'm not going to be on the podcast, so just know I have many things to say. Like,
Okay. Well,
many.
We'll
should
check
write
back
in.
on you.
many things. I
Yeah.
think I
Maybe.
might. I'm going to write it.
Okay.
I thought about writing
from
it
Allie.
in the note.
I'm going to write it. Doing
Please write in. Okay. Look, and we'll if people are gone for one, we'll catch up on you later. We can check back on your opinion on an episode. It's fine.
it. But
Sam, any last thoughts here?
Oh, last thoughts, last nitpicks, stuff like that.
Yes.
Well, I thought the CGI was reminiscent of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
is that a
Um,
compliment or a diss?
I don't know, however you want to take it. It was similarly springy, plasticky, like a jelly sort of effect. So I don't know. But that being said, I did like the fire bending a lot, and I like the air bending a lot in terms of all that. So that's something, right? I have to say I agree with our fan XEOCX13 that I agree that Katara didn't really show too much emotion in the first 2 episodes. I felt like she's been kind of flat, and this is definitely a turning point. So I'm excited about that, I suppose. Also, I thought that Momo and Sokka collecting food together was cute.
Adorable.
It was very cute.
But yeah.
I like Aang Katara laughing at Momo, who's not there, and then they CGI later.
It's true.
But that's the type of thing I think about now. It's not animated. But nice. Delaney, any final thoughts?
I just really enjoyed this episode, even though I hate Jet with all of my heart. And I agree that the fight was reminiscent of Indiana Jones. It's always fun to run through a market and like
Oh,
jump through
wait.
stalls.
The woman with the broom.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, and she's like, "Don't fight! Why are you hitting that?"
Oh,
boy?"
I loved her.
That child. Yeah.
Child.
It's true. He was just trying to brutally assault a child.
It was really funny. She just starts beating him.
Nice. Yeah. Mechanist named Sai, by the way. They said that a few times.
He's
the
always going to be
Mechanist.
the Mechanist.
He's the
though.
Mechanist. Stop trying to make Sai happen.
Yeah, I didn't know who they were talking about. Like, Sai, who? Who's that?
Yeah, he's the Mechanist. Okay. Nang is captured at the end. Was there anything else from the very end? Yeah, no. It was admittedly good. And another thing I forgot to mention at the beginning: the episodes you're adapting are worse than the previous episodes. So I think that helps.
Yeah.
It's like not too
Mhm.
hard to make a better Northern Air Temple or the first Omashu episode. I will say the original Jet episode's good, so I don't necessarily think this was a better version, but I'm just going to be more open to their adaptations when they're not episodes I hold in so high regards, which is why I'm still pessimistic about the finale, but we'll see. In the meantime, though, that we're like I said, we're in the stretch of not as good episodes. So I think there's a lot of room for not improvement, at least
Good
lateral
changes.
movement. Potential good changes to be made. There you go. Anyway, that's it for Omashu. Thank you guys for listening, and those who wrote in. You can email podcast@overlyanimated.com and tell me what episode it is in the title, and we will potentially read your email on the upcoming podcast. You can subscribe by searching from the Spirit World, Overly Animated, Netflix, Avatar, to find our feeds. Subscribe to one of them. We're going to have these still rolling out a few days a week until we reach the end, and you can consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Phonician, and thanks to our star patron executive producer, Steve Michael, and Phonician. We've got up next, I don't remember, Into the Dark. Okay, not one word.
Is this our first multiple word?
Yes, first multiple word title.
Amazing.
And there's 3 of them.
We're
3 really playing in the big leagues now.
There you go.
3 whole words.
I don't know what Into the Dark. You can't really tell from that title. I mean, it's going to be Omashu Part 2 to some extent, so it'll be exciting to see what happens.
It's going to be dark.
There will be. Oh, actually, that's true. I'm not looking forward to that because
we're not
going to be
able
way
to see
too dark,
anything
and I'm not going to be able to see, and I have to turn out all the lights. And unless I watch it at night, I won't be able to see what happens.
Yeah, right. You have to turn the brightness up.
It's terrible.
Oh,
I'm lucky I get no
I
natural
could
light
do
in
that,
my room,
actually.
because that's a good point.
Oh yeah, it's probably better in that way. Okay, so we will see you guys for Into the Dark. Thanks for listening. Bye.
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 Bye.